Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is exclusive, and today we are going to take you through every minute details of Operation Trashi-1, the operation that started on 18th of January and in last 36 days, the relentless operation showing coordination and synergy between the security forces has led to biggest ever success. The top leadership of Jaish Mohammed has been wiped out from the Kishtwar district of Jammu and Kashmir. It is not only about 7 terrorists being killed, but it is those 7 that have been sent from Pakistan, backed by ISI, fully supported by Jaish-e-Mohammed, Maulana Masood Azhar, to take revenge for the Operation Sindoor. But these terrorists have been eliminated in the operations conducted by the Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and the CRPF. These operations have been conducted over a span of 36 days and 4 of their top ones have been decimated in this the ongoing operations. The security forces have not only eliminated these terrorists but have also ensured that Aam Awam of Jammu and Kashmir that lives under the threat of terrorism can move out freely. The town of Kishtwar for the first time in last couple of years is free from the Pakistani terrorists, and now the target is the remaining 20. Those 20 that have also been sent with the same motive. But today's success for the security forces and the message that has been given by the Indian Army that we will identify the enemies of the country, will target them and will neutralize them. It clearly means that the morale of the security forces after Operation Trashi-1 is on the 7th sky, and now it is only the counted days for the Pakistani proxies that are operating in Jammu and Kashmir, especially at that time when the terrorists are feeling the heat and they are skipping to this side of Pir Panjal, trying to establish a base for those who have always been non-supporter of the Pakistani terrorists. They are threatening the people, but all those things and the threats are of the past. Now rises a new dawn where Pakistani terrorists are a past, and now the security forces are going all out in rest of the districts of Jammu and Kashmir. The new 20 are on the top of the list. 7 that were on the target of the security forces have been wiped out completely, especially the precision inputs that have been shared by the multiple agencies, the synergy that can be seen from the top of the Indian Army, Jammu and Kashmir Police and CRPF to the soldiers that are operating on the ground gave terrorists almost zero chance to move out. And the story of Saifullah, the dreaded commander and the new poster boy of the Pakistani terror group Jaish-e-Mohammed. It was for the first time in Kishtwar post-Burhan Wani era that a terrorist was coming to be a poster boy, but now that poster boy has also been vanished from the records by the security forces, because this operation that lasted for 36 days, this was the operation where security forces started afresh every single morning so that these terrorists can be killed. But using their local network, using the dense forest, using the snow-clad mountains, these terrorists managed to escape from these areas for several days. But it was yesterday only when a specific intel came and a small unit of SOG Pasarkot was sent to the operation site. This team saw suspected movement. Indian Army and the special forces were roped into the operation. And then came Tyson. Tyson was sent inside the Dhok, a temporary structure that was there in the upper reaches of Chatru. And when he went in, it was the barrage of bullets that gave a confirmation that terrorists are inside. And then it was bullets after bullets that hit the terrorists. Though the terrorists have taken a refuge in an area that has been covered with the natural stones that gave them cover for more than a couple of hours. But then came the precision RPG strikes. These launchers were aimed at the location of terrorists and they got hit from 2 locations. That is from the top of this, and the second was front. They were hit and then these terrorists were decimated. The board was charged, but the security forces got a breakthrough. Saifullah was killed. Here's a special report from the ground on Operation Trashi-1.
Yet another failed attempt of terror attack.
In a major breakthrough, Indian Army has neutralized 3 dreaded commanders of Jaish-e-Mohammed, and right now we are in the Trashi area of the Kishtwar, where this massive operation was launched, and we are with the teams of the 11 Rashtra Rifles of the Indian Army that has carried out this major anti-terror operation which led to the elimination of Saifullah, one of the dreaded commander of Jaish-e-Mohammed. Here you will see that the teams of the 11 Rashtra Rifles of the Indian Army, they are being inducted to the operation site. The area of operation is now being extended, reason being that they are now moving towards the area where the suspected hideout of the terrorist could be, because these are the men in uniform that have carried out the relentless operation. I'll request Sir Jeevan to keep showing you the visuals that these are the men in uniform of the Indian Army that have been carrying out relentless operation. These operations have been going on for long, and here you will see that along with the sophisticated weapons, these are the men that have carried out this large-scale operation which led to the elimination of 3 Pakistani terrorists of Jaish-e-Mohammed, including Saifullah. And here you will see that the launchers they are carrying along with them, these are the launchers that have been used in the Operation Trashi. The videos that you have seen, these were the men actually that fired at the location of the Pakistani terrorists that were hiding there. Here you will also see these men that have gone the victory for the security forces, because all these operations, they were the massive operations that required the Indian Army to operate at its full strength. And now as the victory comes for the Indian Army, here you will see that these men of the Indian Army with the victory sign, because they have neutralized the Pakistani commanders of Jaish-e-Mohammed. A major blow has come to Jaish, and now as these men they prepare for the massive anti-terror operations continuing in the area, they are ensuring that every nook and corner of the Kishtwar is secure. And these men, you will see the smiles on their faces speaks volumes about this, because this was the launcher. I'll request Sir Jeevan to be on the launcher that was used to decimate the infrastructure of the terrorists. Terrorists were using a base. They have the sophisticated weapons with them, and all these weapons have decimated the Pakistani terrorists, those who were active in the area for more than couple of years. But now is the time where the success has come for the Indian Army and the Jammu and Kashmir police in the Trashi area of Kishtwar.
This time, 11 Rashtra Rifles along with the J&K police neutralized the 3 JEM terrorists in Kishtwar.
This is the general area where Jammu and Kashmir police along with the Indian Army, they are carrying out intensified searches in the area. They are ensuring that this entire area is secured, and the troops of the SOG Kishtwar along with the Jammu and Kashmir police, they are carrying out the searches in the area. I'll request Sir Jeevan to move upwards to show you that exact place, the dhok where these terrorists were hiding, but the security forces, they managed to ensure that these Pakistani terrorists do not get a chance to move out from this very area. This is the very dhok from where even some smoke is still coming out. That is the area where the terrorists were hiding, but the security forces ensured that these terrorists are neutralized at an earliest, and within an hour's time this operation was concluded and the elimination of top Jaish commander Saifullah took place. This is one of the challenging areas where the Indian Army's 11 Rashtra Rifles along with the SOG Kishtwar is operating. What these men in uniform ensured that the terrorists do not escape from this very area, because you will see that what the plan of the terrorist was to take cover in other area, because had they been able to cross over some 400 to 500 meters from this very area, they would have gone to the dense forest, and then it becomes almost next to impossible for the security forces to get hold of these terrorists. But the trap that was led by the SOG Kishtwar along with the 11 Rashtra Rifles, that ensured that every plan of the Pakistani terrorist is foiled, and now with the elimination of these 3 terrorists that has taken place, the total number of elimination of the Pakistani terrorists has gone to 7. 4 being neutralized in the Operation Trashi that has expanded over 37 days now. 2 have been killed in Operation Kia in Udhampur, and 1 elimination that has taken place, it was in the Kathua.
Operation Trashi that began in January finally led to the elimination of JEM commander Saifullah.
Operation Trashi-1 has been concluded because it was aimed at the remaining 4 terrorists, including Saifullah. But all these threats have now been eliminated. I'll request Sarjivan if we can move along with us and we can show you some more visuals from the top angle as well, because these terrorists, they have taken a base that is almost a secure base, a threat-proof base for them. So from where the security forces came out with the assault on them, here Sarjivan is showing you. Here you will see that this was one of the first targets that the security forces had, because I told you that from the sides it was impossible to breach this place. So the security forces, they targeted these areas. Here were the UBGLs and the rocket launchers that were actually pounded on these locations, and when the UBGL and the rocket launchers came to this, the terrorists were decimated. One of the dreaded commanders, those names that were big names for Jaish Mohammed, these names were decimated within a few minutes of the operation. Though we cannot go to that very side, but here you will see that these steel shelters also, the way they have been decimated, this shows that the security forces came here with their full might. The might was to ensure that the terrorists do not get any chance to move out, and that is what has happened from the ground zero. We are showing you minute-to-minute update that how Operation Trashi-1 was carried out. I'll request Sarjivan if it can come this way and go upward so that we can show you that how this entire stretch was actually pounded with shells by the security forces, as they left no chance for the Pakistani terrorists that they can enter this area or they can have an advantage. I cannot move that much because this area has been secured by the Jammu and Kashmir police, but from here you will get an idea that how this operation has been carried out by the security forces. And these men of the SOG Kishtwar, they have ensured that any threat that comes to India, that can be neutralized well within time. And here the Operation Trashi-1 has concluded with the elimination of total 4 terrorists, 3 eliminated yesterday only, and now the top Jaish name, that is Saifullah, is a past for the security forces, for the Jaish, and a major blow has come to Jaish Mohammed because their entire leadership that was there in the Kishtwar, that has completely been wiped out.
An operation carried out in rough terrain where the terror base was located at some height.
Right now we are at that very place where these terrorists were hiding, and they have been neutralized in the ongoing operation. I'll request Sarjivan to come along so that we can show you that thok in which the terrorists were hiding. This is the temporary structure. This is actually in the areas, these forest areas. These are the thoks that are used by the migratory population so that they can stay here during the summers, and during winters what happens that this entire area is vacated by them and they leave this very area. Now you will see that this was the place where these terrorists were hiding. How they were actually planned this, because they know that in these dhok what happens that these walls that you see, they are made of these stones, and these are roughly 1 to 2 feet walls that are thick enough to bear the brunt of the rocket launchers for a couple of hours. And that is what the plan of the terrorists was, because behind on the other side that you will see that these were the areas where the terrorists were actually taking shelter. Only place where the forces could actually act on, it was from the top and it was from the front side, and that is what the security forces chose to. What they did, they targeted these locations from the upper side, because on the upper side you will see that this is the place from where the shells came towards the terrorists, and the terrorists had no other option but then to succumb to the firing. And second was the forward side, because on the other side there is a road, and that was used as one of the operating base by the security forces, because when the front fire came on the terrorists, they were actually completely surrounded by the security forces. And the teams that have taken part in these operations, they are still here. They are carrying out the intensified surveillance of the area, because this area has not been thrown open, because there has been visits of the Jaish have been here frequently. So there is a possibility that they might have some terror base or the hideout where they have hidden their weapons and the ammunition here. But these men of the Jammu and Kashmir police, they are the those who have ensured that any threat that looms large on the sovereignty of the country, that can be vitiated and that threat can be ruled out. Here you will see that the cops have been deployed on the every nook and corner of this very area, because these are the men that have ensured that Pakistani terrorists are neutralized. And now as we speak, this entire area has been coordinated. Not only this, but if Sarjivan can come along and we can go to the other side also, here you will see that this was the other base where the Pakistani terrorists were hiding. What Pakistani terrorists were doing, that they were hiding here. Here also also you will see that these are the shoes of the terrorists that have been recovered here, because when they were inside, they actually had no idea that the security forces are coming to them. This is the other place where the encounter has taken place. Here you will find that their belongings, that includes the bowl, some eatables, matchsticks, their other things, everything is here, and the smoke is still coming out of this, that you can see that what was the intent of the target that security forces had taken, that they had to completely decimate this area. These were the 2 rooms actually that were built up, but they all have been destroyed by the security forces in the Operation Trashi-1, and 3 dreaded commanders of Jaish have been neutralized in this operation.
Despite this, Operation showcases the pinnacle of planning and precision by armed forces. Not only this, in a major success of the operation, deadly modern weapons were also recovered that might have been used against India.
These are the men behind that successful operation that ensured that the Pakistani terrorists do not escape. From the possession of these 3 killed terrorists, a huge cache of arms and ammunition has been recovered. This includes 3 Russian-made Kalashnikov rifles that are here. One of the weapons that was with the terror commander Saifullah, that has completely been charred, while 2 other weapons, they have been recovered from that very area, the operation site. This was under debris, while both the others that are now part of this recovery, they can be seen here. Along with the 3 rifles that have been recovered, the security forces have also recovered 8 magazines of the AK, that is 5.72 mm rounds that were used by the AK. Also, the recovery includes these green lacquer bullets that have been used in the past also by the terrorists of Lashkar-e-Toiba, starting from the Alpha Gate incident that took place in 2021, then also the Hungary terror attack that has also taken place. There also, to target the civilians and the security forces, it was the green lacquer bullets that were used by the Pakistani terrorists. From the possession of these terrorists, the security forces have also recovered some eatables that can also be seen in this. An FIR number 5 of 2026 has been registered that includes some utensils that they were using, because they were moving in this general area only, so they were using all these utensils. Also, the biscuits that they were carrying along with them, also some cigarettes, lighters have also been recovered from the possession. And this is the case of the mobile phone that has been recovered, watch case, and the mobile though has been damaged to a large extent and has been sent for the forensic. That includes the key details that how these terrorists were operating in the area. Right now the visuals that you see are from the Kishtwar only, where the huge consignment of the weapons have been recovered by the security forces. Also, the recovery includes their belongings, their shoes that have been recovered, and many of the samples have been sent for the forensics also, because security forces want to ensure that any threat that looms large, because the data that they have in their phone, that can help a lot to bringing about the rest of the group of Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed that are operating jointly in this area. I'm joined by Major General APS Pearl, GOC Delta Force. Sir, how do you see this major success coming for the forces, because we have been witnessing relentless operation going on in the Kishtwar, Doda, and now the success coming with Saifullah being neutralized?
You know, you see it as just a 2 days operation of 21st and 22nd, but the entire network here, the entire security forces that includes the army, the police, the CRPF and all the intelligencies, we've been working for last months and months, and in the most difficult terrain, as you can see, in the most difficult weather, but our approach was relentless, that we did not stop. And we would always realign, reorient ourselves, redeploy ourselves, plan again, go to the ground again, come back again, plan again, prepare again, and launch again. And that's how this more than a year has passed. And I think this is a cumulative success of all those months, and not just for last few days or months.
So it feels like when you say that the entire Jaish leadership in Kishtwar has been wiped out, how it feels?
I won't say the entire Jaish, but yes, the Saifullah group has been eliminated, because there were 7 of them, and they were the fulcrum of the entire operations being run by Jaish in this entire area. So that group has been eliminated for sure, but the remnants of Jaish are still there in Doda district, Udhampur, Ramban, Riyasi. So they have been identified. We are pursuing operations there also, and I'm sure, inshallah, we'll see many more such successful operations, and they'll also be neutralized.
My last question will be, what will be your message to the enemy that is trying hard to push terrorists, and also those terrorists in hinterland trying to carry out more and more terror attacks?
Our vision, collective vision is same, that anybody who's against the nation, who's the enemy of the nation, wherever he is, in whatever form he is, he'll be identified, targeted, and neutralized.
A perfect showcase of bravery, planning, and courage by the armed forces to neutralize the terrorists, especially.
A major blow has come to Jaish Mohammed and the Pakistani ISI as their entire top leadership of Jaish, which they have sent in 2024 to Jammu and Kashmir, has completely been wiped out by the security forces in the operations that they have carried out. And now the second rung of leadership is on the target of the security forces. That is all what we can pack in this edition of This Is Exclusive. Stay tuned on Republic TV right after this short break.